Good day and welcome to a new video. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Hey and welcome to Weekly Tips. So today I just wanted to go through some basics with you. The basics of learning to draw, learning to create, and even some great artists who out there may, think about these things when they do go and paint. So any level can kind of learn from this in a way. Because the basics are really important. We all use them, whether you're a beginner or a professional. And the things you're always learning, you should never forget about. So let's delve into them. So I'll give you about 4 little basics at the moment. So we're starting off with shape. So with shape, you can use shape to guide all your drawings and things, like using spherical shapes and squares to create a hand kind of a thing. That's Proko's lesson. Look it up on Proko, how to do this kind of a thing, where you basically break characters and people, anything you want to draw, into some sort of shapes and things. It does help to create things out of, whether you use simple shapes, 3D cylinders and things like that. Shape is always a great one to turn to when you need to start to draw things. Everything's pretty much made out of shapes. You can make anything out of shapes, which is great, and it's always something you can master and learn to draw. It takes me, thousands of boxes to get really good, and I just keep drawing boxes. I draw cubes all the time. It's nothing that, it's like, I draw 10,000 cubes and then I'm great at drawing cubes, It's like you keep on drawing them and drawing them in different positions and different compositions and all sorts of stuff. And some of that stuff can be boring for some people. I mean, for me it's just a little bit of doodling. So it's I don't get the most fun out of it, but it is a mileage thing and it does really help me. And I use it also to, like this, use it to construct some of my characters and things, like using a circle and then pushing that to create a head kind of a thing. That's a great method to use. I use sometimes. And same with like going from the neck. You can use a different shape for the neck. I can get further into this. If you guys would like me to get further into this, I can do. But there's certainly a lot of videos out there that kind of talk about shape a bit more, in different ways and forms. So let's move on to line. Line is a great one. You can use it in many ways. Whether you want to use it as a way to differentiate, so make the objects and the backgrounds different from each other, or whether you want to use it to make shading and shadow and things, and to play around with that. You can use lines whether it's thick or thinner, and there's all sorts of things you can do with lines. Like I said, cross hatching is a good one, and using it to divide your shapes and characters and backgrounds is good. Using no lines versus using heaps of lines, making it more comic book like versus more realistic. Like, there's a lot you can do with play around with lines, where you want to make it really thick at one point and then make it really thin, at the other points. And thick and thin lines good too, to show a bit of depth sometimes. It might, if you find some rules about things, it's certainly, like, for instance, me drawing grass at the moment. The grass is bigger when it's towards me, and it's thinner lines when it's all the way over here. Make all sorts of rules. It also nearly disappears, like where it's here, you know, these kind of lines. But yeah, line is a great one to use. Anyway, let's go on to composition. So with composition, this is a hard one to get your head around sometimes. It's basically how your character interacts with your background, or how you're going to have your background composition, how you're going to tell your story. It's a very important part into creating your piece or artwork or concept art. It is not necessary for all of them, because, you know, with concept art sometimes you're just kind of looking for what the thing looks like, but composition is really great to, you know, give that story behind what your character is. You know, you might want to put him in a little cave or something to make him like small, or you might want to put him into a dark forest, and where would he be in that dark forest? Would he be like in the middle, scared out of his, you know, he's really scared in the middle, kind of tiny, or would he be like big and monstrous and like right in your face in the composition? You know, will his face be right there, staring at you? And yeah, you want to give a story for your viewers to look at, something interesting about your painting. You know, you're not just drawing a dog. You know, this dog is here and I'm just drawing a dog. You know, you want to, well, this ain't a dog, but I'm not drawing a dog, but you know, you don't want to just draw something. Sometimes you really gotta give something new, a new composition, a new way to show this dog. Even if you're like just drawing a pet of someone, either your pet or someone you know's pet, you know, it's good to come up with a pose or composition that you want to tell that pet's story. You know, want to show what that pet is really like. So composition can really help with this. The next is shadow and shading. So, you know, with shadow and shading, you're dealing with natural light, and then you're dealing with unnatural light. I know these are a bit all over the place, but I kind of just made this today. But, you know, thanks for coming in and watching this. I really do appreciate it. So, yeah, shadow and shading. Yeah, just learn where your light source is coming from, whether it's a daylight like a sun, or if it's, or a moon actually, or unnatural light, it's coming from just a light bulb or just some sort of human made light of some sort, you know, fluorescent light, or, you know, learn this kind of stuff. And there's always something to learn with shadow and shading. Whether you're dealing with different kind of lights, different kind of light sources and where they're coming from, different times of day, you know, nighttime, daytime, mid-noon. You know, the sun's always in different places around the world too, so, you know, there's a lot to learn. But just learning the basics about shadow will really help. You know, if the light source is coming from this way, you know, that means that you know, all that stuff is really great to learn. And we may delve into a bit more of each of these for mini like basics. There's probably a couple more that I could mention at some point as well, but these are basically the basics I want you to learn and make sure that you do know and grasp. Thanks for joining me today. Hopefully you did enjoy this video, and we'll see you in the next weekly tip. Thank you. Goodbye.